Hello, the internet and my lovely illuminaries and Mysterians. I was kind of just in a position today where I'm finding some of my early sneaking suspicions about certain kinds of games not floating in the market, being confirmed by the second game that I kind of stopped playing from early access. Well, being called kaput with the company that was developing it. The first one was Dead Island Epidemic. Reasonably fun game, but it was dreadfully repetitive. And it was just, it wasn't necessarily. There was a certain point where it just wasn't worth it upgrading some of the basic tools because you could do more with that boat ore than you could with your first or second unlocked upgraded tool. And your ranged weapon, may be good, may be bad, but honestly, they were different, but not necessarily better than the stuff you started the game with. So most people didn't upgrade anything, which I can understand. And having to garner things to upgrade stuff, it got a little tedious. So I wasn't surprised when the fourth time I turned it on, there was a notice on the website or on the open page for the game saying that there was going to be no more support for the game in a couple of weeks. Okay, peace. That's Dead Island Epidemic down. And, they did so well with, Dead Island Riptide. I am looking forward to Dead Island 2. Either way, which would technically be the third Dead Island, and if you include Epidemic, it's the fourth Dead Island, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The other thing that is a game I was not overly impressed with, was suggested to me, was Rise of Incarnates. Very much meant to be the old Namco Bandai, button masher, fiercely flipping buttons and triggers, and it was meant best for a controller. And not that I have a problem with controller-based games or console-based games, just the fact that it was obviously centered, the entire game was centered first around using a controller. Mouse and keyboard was a secondary consideration. So Rise of Incarnates, though they were light on the story end of it, and I think that's what actually was causing the problem, was that they were light on the story end of it. There weren't enough singular things to do. You had to have a team, and whether it was a bot or the bots were blindsided useless. And, if you stepped into it with a team, it may have been a different experience. But then it was still only 2-on-2, which doesn't allow for very big teams, and that can be frustrating in and of itself. But they also weren't long on the story. They didn't linger on the story at all. They didn't give you a character development mode where you could build up your character into being a beast through, discovering your powers over time. It was just, well, these are how you open and use these powers. Well, I'm not really unlocking any powers. I'm just learning how to press the right number of buttons to get that effect. I wasn't earning some increase in power or some interesting distant goal. I wasn't leveling the character so that he'd be competitive with other characters. I was as competitive out of the gate as anybody else in game. then it was just a matter of how quick you were of a button masher. And honestly, the problem with button mashing games for me is I've had 6 strokes. Okay? The button mashing is a little past my prime. So, it's not the thing I want to try to push myself into, but I tried the game, wasn't overly impressed, and lo and behold, it now has been declared defunct, kaput, over. They are going to, in mid-December, end all support for the game. It's a pity because some of the graphics were fun, some of the ideas were great, could have been played into other things, but they're shelving it. They're shelving the process. So that's 2 for 2. I'm starting to think that my opinion, even when it was unexpressed, it didn't count, but it was of bearing because, 2 games I didn't find much in are now defunct. And it's just driving me to push towards this whole actively doing reviews of games, the Let's Plays, as well as everything else. The biggest frustration is the following on my gameplay on Twitch, as well as the editing it into a Let's Play for YouTube. But we will see. I just spent 2.5 hours this morning playing DC Universe Online. Now, superhero games are not everybody's float, and I can understand. And I would like to have had more viewers, but honestly, I was happy with one person that enjoys my time gaming, especially other than me. Heck yes, life is good. And in that, I hope life continues being good. I would like to say to all my illuminaries and Mysterians, have an absolutely blessed day. Peace out.